For as long as I can remember, I have pursued stories. I have been captivated by the tales on my TV, or by the legends written in books, by the films in the theatre, or the stories that grow and evolve in my own mind. I have never known a moment where stories haven't been this intrinsic part of my being, this art that I always seek out and always seek to create. Since childhood, I've daydreamed of the tales I wish were real, occupied my mind with otherworldly peoples and magics, hoping that one of these fictions will become a story that others will enjoy the way I have enjoyed so many. Art creates feelings that are more incredible than anything I've experienced, and these feelings have drawn me to the most significant people and moments of my life. I don't know who I would be without stories. I don't even know if I would be here without them. Something I find so fascinating about stories is when you find pieces of yourself within them. When you see not just a canvas, but a mirror revealing the characteristics and subtleties that are so deeply you, I find myself understood in a very personal and genuinely helpful way that I don't often find in other places. Meaningful connections are more important than anything, and something about the experience of watching an incredible film, or reading a beautifully written book, or playing a carefully and creatively constructed game creates the same feelings of connection and understanding that we seek with others. Through journeys of struggle against a cruel world, journeys of battle against the inner self, quests through vast worlds of unimaginable wonders, or stories of the mundane life, we see ourselves in multitudes of forms, various aspects of humanity presented on a canvas for all the world to see. Through the journeys of people who are literally fake, I feel with every story I encounter a little closer to understanding this complexion we all experience, but are all divided by. There are so many works of art that have revealed the complexities, nuances, and beauty of the world. So many that I can't begin to talk about. But some stories stick with me as time goes by. The Lord of the Rings for its depiction of death and the decay of things. Attack on Titan for its grueling representation of the cycle of violence and the oppressive nature of war and fate. Arcane for its gut-wrenching tragedies that tear apart families and loved ones. Past Lives for showing the passage of time and the change inevitable in our relationships. The Stormlight Archive for its honest and raw depiction of the struggles of mental health and the difficulty to overcome the burdens of the mind. Nier Automata for its existential confrontations with philosophy. Evangelion for shining a light on the darkest and most shameful parts of ourselves. Perfect Days for revealing the simple beauty in the everyday. These stories and so many others have given me hope in the most profound ways, reminding me time and time again of the meaning that always exists to be found in the world. But one story has revealed the beauty of life in a way that resonates so emotionally and so profoundly like no other piece of media has for me. That story is Look Back, a manga by Chainsaw Man creator Tatsuki Fujimoto and its recent anime adaptation by Kiyotaka Oshiyama. Look Back is a very short story, the manga being a one-shot of 145 pages, the film being a very short 58 minutes. The story follows middle schooler Fujino, who draws manga 4 panels for a school newsletter and takes pride in her glowing reception from her classmates and family members. This popularity and self-assurance is damaged, however, when Kyomoto, a truant who has taken up a slot next to Fujino's, begins drawing art that supersedes anything Fujino herself has created. What follows is a story of the effort that goes into creating art, the determination to create something meaningful, and the ability for that meaning to manifest in genuinely beautiful moments. I can't say much about the plot of Look Back without getting into spoilers, but this story bleeds lament and sorrow and regret in ways that feel so raw and so honest. Tatsuki Fujimoto takes parts of himself, drawing striking similarities with the real world and with his own life, to make a statement on the significance of creating art in the most heart-wrenching ways I've experienced in a piece of media. There was something so incredible about seeing Look Back get an anime adaptation. I remember the first announcement, then watching the first trailer in the car as my family and I arrived in Kuba Piti, of all places, and feeling genuine tears as the breathtaking animation played out. The faith in Fujimoto's vision and the directions given to ensure this was not just a true adaptation of Look Back, but a labor of love and passion for a story that has touched the hearts of so many across the world. I was worried this film wouldn't get a theatrical run in Australia, but fortunately it had a wider release than I suspected, and I don't know how to express what it felt like watching this movie for the first time. I was so familiar with the original manga, so watching every frame was like seeing something you cared so much about, had spent so much time contemplating and appreciating, as every artist who brought it to life in front of you shared that same passion and was dedicated to delivering that beauty as closely and carefully as possible. Every decision or added scene or small detail enhanced the narrative for a cinematic lens, whilst giving fans of Fujimoto's work more aspects to appreciate. I've never been sure of why Look Back specifically hit me the way it did, but I think, more than anything, its contemplation on regret and the way we perceive others feels so raw. The mistakes, the time we wasted, the days we can never go back to, but want nothing more than to return to. That's something I think we all understand and all have to face. Sometimes I can't help but feel disappointed at the world, at the way we keep forming divisions between ourselves, at the way our systems seem perpetually flawed and corrupt, at the way we have to walk away from the things that provide joy. Sometimes I just feel that the world I was born into is just too chaotic and demanding and just dull. Sometimes I struggle to feel that this place is any more than the uncomfortable or painful or underwhelming things that occupy our everyday. Sometimes the confusion, the existential fear of death in tandem with the purposeless void of a life is overbearing, and no light emanates from beyond the eclipse. Then sometimes I feel something beautiful. Something emerges from the disorienting uncertainty, an emotion I can't truly express the complexity of, a feeling that surpasses all the misery and questions of the world, all the dissatisfaction and confusion and pain, a clarity that supersedes everything around you, and for a moment makes you feel again that there is real beauty in the world, despite all its ugliness. This is the feeling I search for in art. This is the feeling that reminds me why all of us are a meaningful part of this world. I feel torn sometimes, like I spend too much time consuming art than actually creating it, or searching for the feeling of connection in media rather than with the people in my life. And I'm not sure how to find that balance, how to fix that. But I want to say with as much honesty as I can, that art really is so important. That we all should seek art to see the world in new ways, to be transported through the imagination and to share with others the works that have inspired us to greater ends. Look Back reminds me, like the most personally important art always should, that our connections and decisions and very existence in the world has meaning, and the meaning to make better the things that are broken or damaged. That's why I love art. That's why I think art matters.